Hey, in case you missed it, the Bank of Canada decided not to move interest rates up again. And a lot of people are blaming low interest rates for fueling the metro real estate market, which is crazy like it was in 2016. And New Zealand is experiencing exactly the same situation. And they've decided to step in by essentially making it harder for average buyers and investors to get a mortgage. And we're wondering whether something like that might work here in Canada as well. We're going to have a discussion about that coming up in just a few minutes. First of all, though, the weather is awesome. A lot of people heading down to the beach. It sort of, evokes memories of summertime and maybe having a cool craft beer. I've only once in my life that I can recall actually had an alcoholic beverage in a Vancouver park.
Really?
Yeah,
I love that you called it alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, I was at Stanley Park, had a glass of wine with a girlfriend.
Okay.
It was their birthday. You're not allowed to do that.
Nope.
Not here. You are in North Vancouver in some parks. You are in Port Coquitlam, where apparently they're more adult or something. The mayor, Brad West, has said that their drinking in parks pilot project was so successful. It's a done deal going ahead now permanently.
It went exceedingly well, which is actually what I expected. Any time you try and do something new, you do get some naysayers or, folks who kind of think of the most remote doomsday scenario. I never thought that was going to come to pass. And, if you allow that to dictate what you do, you'll never do anything. And so we did it in Port Coquitlam, and it was incredibly successful.
So other municipalities are going, it's working there. Now Delta's going to do it.
Yeah. Is it really any surprise that this did work? Like, honestly, Delta. Dylan Kruger, the youngest councillor ever elected to Delta City Council, he has put a motion forward, and he actually he says there's an equity issue when it comes to this whole thing.
And why are we driving it underground? And I'll admit it on your live radio TV show. I'm one of those people, or I'll bring some wine around in a canteen to the beach to enjoy the sunset. Why are we forced to be kind of crawling in shame over what is outside of the strictly North American prohibition holdover world, a completely normal activity? And I think there's a big equity component to it, too. A lot of people, especially younger people, working-age people who maybe live in condos or in basement suites, and look, they don't have access to a big, beautiful backyard where they can grill up some steaks and have some wine on a Friday night in the summer. So where's the equity for people who can't travel this year? We've been told not even to leave our region. So there's a mental health perspective to it. There's an equity perspective. And I don't see what the big deal is about it. I really don't.
And here's Dylan on the pilot and what it's all about in Delta.
So we were lucky enough to get unanimous approval at our Monday meeting to have basically a report come back with a pilot program. So details still to be worked out, but the tentative plan right now is we're going to try it out at four parks where it would make a lot of sense just because they're in close proximity to walkable services and whatnot. So we'll try it out at those four parks. We'll do a survey at the end of the summer. And my strong feeling is, similar to the Port Coquitlam experience and other cities, we're going to find that people are overwhelmingly very excited about it.
Again, I would guess it would be hard to find any city or any community that this would be a problem in. Let's be honest.
It's taken a while in Vancouver, but last year the Vancouver Park Board voted in favor of a pilot project that would allow alcohol in 22 different locations.
Right, yeah.
So everybody was excited about that, but there were issues. This is Park Board Commissioner John Irwin.
I guess part of it was that in order to do it, totally quickly this summer, and we still might be able to do it, we would have to give some of our authority over to the province, the Lieutenant Governor and Council, and no one on the board was willing to do that. Part of it is that we don't have the flexibility, if we do that, to react quickly to any sort of pilot problems that might be happening.
What?
Well,
why is the province involved in our park situations?
I think it's a Vancouver charter. We're going to find out more about that in a second. But the ball's been thrown to the province in a pandemic.
Here we go.
The Public Safety Minister, Mike Farnworth, just released a statement to us saying the government's aware of the desire of the Park Board to designate public places under its jurisdiction in which liquor may be consumed. Work is well underway to explore how the Liquor Control and Licensing Act might be amended to this end. George Affleck is frustrated, a former city councillor. This is what he said last June.
go down to a park in the downtown core on a sunny day this week. It's sunny this weekend. Go to look at the people that are down there, desperate to be somewhere with their friends, socializing and having a meal and feeling safe and healthy and social. And you will see what the people really want. And just give them what they want. Park Board, come on.
No, George, it'll be chaos. What do you mean?
Give us what we want. Now we have to wait for the province.
Yeah.
George Affleck's joining us now. He's also a fill-in host on CKNW. Hi, George.
Hello. Well, some things never change.
I know. I find it very frustrating. It seems like we just can't get anything done in Vancouver.
Well, we can get a bike lane in Stanley Park done pretty quickly, apparently. We'll know tonight. But, it's that horrible little Vancouver charter that defines the Park Board and the city as separate entities, and Park Board has to go through a process separate to the city. And it's the Achilles heel of having our own charter and having our own Park Board, that you have to follow the process. Now, the question, of course, is, really, Park Board? Can't you just... I'm pretty sure that last year the province said, just go ahead and do it. We're not going to bug you guys about it. But this Park Board seems very uptight about this issue.
Why do we have a Vancouver charter? Why do we need one?
Well, I mean, it has its benefits. It's just a unique situation way back 100 years ago where they developed this unique charter for Vancouver, and it was developed from there, and then the municipal charter is separate, which are the other cities. In fact, it works in our favor on occasion because we're able to have other things that happen more quickly. For example, sprinklers in our homes, in our buildings, and we've had those much longer than anywhere else in North America, really. And that is in part because the charter requires it in Vancouver. And so as a result, we have less fires in the city of Vancouver because we have more sprinklers because it's required in any new construction. So there are times where the charter can be quite nimble and have things change quickly, as opposed to the municipal charter, which could get quite complex because you have multiple communities across the province, all wanting their own say in the decision making.
And then we go back to the Park Board, which seems to be at the center of a lot of things. As you mentioned, they're voting tonight, apparently, on whether there's going to be this temporary bike lane in Stanley Park. They get to make that decision. We've got the situation in Strathcona Park, where they were the ones who had the ability to get the injunction or not, another layer of sort of governance. Now we've got this issue of why can't we just have a beer in a park? Oh, because the Park Board has jurisdiction over the parks. Are there too many cooks in the kitchen?
Well, I think that a big question that's being addressed these days is the value of the Park Board in general, given the animosity that's being created related to the bike lane in Stanley Park that's going to be there tonight, related to the camping issue in general, that they decided to permit camping till 7 a.m., and of course the campsites that we're seeing at Strathcona and before that Oppenheimer. This Park Board seems hyper-political and unable to make the decisions that I think the majority of this people in the city would like to see. Certainly they're not willing to be tough on most issues that make sense, except for, apparently, having a drink in a park anywhere in the city. I mean, it's ironic that they seem to have an off balance of what they think is good for Vancouver and what's bad, and I think they've got it all out of whack. And I think there are a lot of people asking that question: what's the point of the Park Board? Should we just get rid of it?
Well, and on the point of drinking in the parks, you heard the statement from the Public Safety Minister. Work is well underway to explore how the Liquor Control and Licensing Act might be amended. What do you think the odds are that we're going to be able to drink a beer in a Vancouver park this year?
I don't know. It's frankly, there are 14 park rangers, I think, for the 200 plus parks that we have. They can't keep up with the other issues related to stuff going on. So, when I talked to John Cooper about this, he's like, pretty sure everybody's drinking in parks now. And they're kind of turning a blind eye to it. I know that I go down to the park where I live in Yaletown, and we have a beer with friends. Last summer we did that. We just sat in the grass down there, and there was tons of people doing that, and there was nobody stopping us. And I think you'll see the same. I think their basic policy is, yeah, there's a rule, but just go ahead and have your fun. I haven't seen anybody. Has anybody gotten a ticket in the last year? I haven't heard of any, and I think that would be disappointing and surprising and a real bad form from the Park Board if they did that.
Well, let's just do it then. George Affleck, good to chat with you.
You too.
George is a former city councillor in Vancouver, also a fill-in host on CKNW. Can we just do it? I mean, for me, I don't really have strong feelings about the park board, but it does seem like they get in the way of moving forward on a lot of different things. So
Vancouver, this is the only one in Canada that we have a park board that's like this, right? So why? I don't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
More parks? I don't know.
Well, I mean, do we need it? Does it have to be a whole separate thing? Can't it be a little more simpler? Because between the province, the city, and the park board, nothing is getting done.
Yeah, and the Vancouver Charter can be both good and can be both complicated. I'm going to open the phone lines on this and see what people think. 604-280-9898. First of all, are you in favor of allowing alcohol consumption? Other municipalities seem to be finding a way to allow for pilots to have a drink in select parks. Vancouver always has to be more complicated with Vancouver. Why? Because there's a park board, nobody else has one. Then there's a Vancouver charter, the province has to get involved. So yeah, they approved a pilot project for alcohol consumption in parks last year. Who knows when that's going to happen?
I was just going to say, I've done it myself. Anyways, a friend and I biked the seawall. This was years ago, and we brought a thermos filled with some wine, took a stop in the middle of the seawall, and had it was great. It was lovely.
Yeah, right. So you're an adult. Nothing went wrong. Nobody died.
Before the break, really quick, George mentioned how many tickets. You guys were asking about how many tickets were fined. In Vancouver is awesome. From last year, they report that 8 officers working in the southwest of the city issuing 6,000 liquor warnings and 401 tickets over 3 months of last year. So that'd be 2019.
3 months?
At beaches such as Kitchen Jericho.
Okay, so obviously they are handing out tickets.
Yeah.
Can we not just be adults here?
Yeah.
Sonia in Vancouver, what do you think of it all?
Well, I just think, as you guys have said, we're all adults. We know the difference between right and wrong. And the Parks Board is just so prehistoric and so, I don't know, back in the whatever years you want to call it, that, come on, let's just move forward. We all just want to get together. We're responsible. We know what we're doing. I mean, I just find the Parks Board very difficult to deal with in a lot of different other aspects too. When you're talking bike lanes or seawall or pop-up plazas or anything like that, it's just, come on, let's just either work together or get lost.
Let's just do it. Sonia, thanks for calling. In this case, the park board passed a motion to have this pilot project. Yeah. It's the province now that's holding it up. And the public safety minister said, we're on it. We're moving as quickly as possible, it sounds like. Gary in East Vancouver, what are your thoughts on this?
Hi, dear. I was born and raised in the city, and as far as I know, people have been doing things like that and other things since they set the first bee in up in Stanley Park in, the summer of 1967. It's beautiful down there. I mean, people used to go down there after the bee in it and sit at Lumberman's Arch. And I don't recall any great big hassle or tourists being hassled by a bunch of fallen down drunks. It's just absolutely asinine that these people in the Parks Board think that their word is God's word, and as far as I'm concerned, they're absolutely ridiculous and redundant. It's as if they don't even live in this city.
So you say no to even having a park board? Why do we need one?
They should be shown the door tonight. As far as I'm concerned, the people should just say, "Oh, you guys, just get out, just get out."
All right, Gary. Well, they're not going to be shown the door tonight because tonight they are voting on whether to have this temporary bike lane in Stanley Park. And I don't entirely know what the big holdup is. They were supposed to vote Monday night, and then it got put over until Tuesday because somebody was talking about food concession or something, and they just never got to it. Yeah. And then the NPA Park Board commissioners last night put forward a motion. Essentially, they want the public to be able to weigh in on this.
Right.
But the park board chair and the other park board members voted this down. So no, there is not. They're essentially trying to restrict those NPA park board commissioners from putting forward motions for special meetings to allow the public to come.
Right. It's if 2 board members vote for these meetings to happen, then the meetings have to happen. So they want to eliminate the option of the 2 board members to be able to make that call.
Now, I appreciate the fact that there has been public consultation, maybe not enough.
Yeah.
And we hear from people all the time, in particular on the bike lane in Stanley Park. But at the end of the day, if they opened it up to public consultation, can you imagine? This would go on for a month and they would still not run out of people who want to say something about it.
Yeah.
So I think they think for expediency's sake, well, we're just gonna vote on my motion. And I think that the park board chair knows he has enough support to pass it tonight, and then we'll see how quickly they're going to turn this around. Because if you remember, the last time that temporary bike lane went up, it went up within a matter of hours.
Oh, yeah, it was speedy, yeah. And I'm going to be interested in this, too, because there's been several petitions launched on both sides of this. So I want to see if either were paid attention, or I know one's going to be paid attention to, but I wonder if the other one was. So I'm interested in this whole, I can't believe I'm interested in civic politics and park board meetings.
Well, I think over 29,000 people signed a petition saying they didn't want the temporary
it's
bike
almost
lane.
at 35,000, that one.
Is
now.
it now?
It is, yeah. I saw it yesterday, yeah.
Clearly, a lot of people care about this. We'll watch the park board meeting tonight. I'm pretty sure they're going to vote. I'm pretty sure it's going to pass, but we'll let you know what happens.